Covering it all from the players who play the games to the stories that surround them, you're listening to JT Sounding Off on ESPN Radio 730 Charlotte and the ESPN Radio app.
He said one day you'll leave this world behind, so live a life you will remember. My father told me when I was just a child, these are the nights that never die. My father told me.
We roll on here, back inside the Sports Sound Off Show. JT signing off on ESPN 730, ESPN730.com. Don't forget, if you're on the go on a Sunday morning, as many of you are, you can take the show with you. Simply download the free ESPN radio app today, and you can access ESPN 730 under the live shows. And we're here with you every Sunday morning, 7 to 8 a.m. on ESPN 730. This is the Sports Sound Off Show. Good to have you guys aboard inside the program as we are knee-deep in the MVP talk of the NBA. We had the Russell Westbrook conversation going on with the In the Know stat earlier in the program. He has had quite the February, and I'm curious to see if everybody's drinking that Kool-Aid out there with Russell Westbrook. And I caution you because I think it's harder to do what he has done in February with Kevin Durant on the court. And KB, I think we agree with that sentiment, do we not?
Yes, we agree with that.
Yeah, it's harder for him to do all of the triple-doubles and the amazing stats that we touched up on earlier in the show. What he has done, it's going to be harder for him. And KD, well, by the way, going to be back in about a week or so, back on the court. So all of a sudden, Russell Westbrook is in that MVP conversation, and rightfully so, he should be. But I'm not so sure I'm ready to jump on the bandwagon. As a matter of fact, I'm not. You know, you could drop a bang on the week if you wish, at JT Sounds Off on Twitter, towards Russell Westbrook, and I would be fine with it. I just don't think he's the MVP right now. Who's your top three MVP candidates, KB, to this point in the season?
To this point in the season, right now, you got to go Westbrook. He's my number one right there. Curry's next because he's doing some phenomenal things too. And then number three, going to have to go Jimmy Butler.
Jimmy Butler?
Yes.
Okay.
Doing a lot of good things there for Chicago.
All right. Fair enough. I'm gonna go Curry, Harden, and I'll throw in Westbrook there at 3. Curry, Harden, and Westbrook. And I'm surprised you left out James Harden, my friend.
Well, you're gonna have to sell me on James Harden.
I mean, look what he's done this season with that team. Is he not by far the best player on their team?
By far.
Is Stephen Curry by far the best player on his team? No. I don't think he is. Is he or is he not?
I'm a big Klay Thompson fan.
I as well.
And I feel like Klay Thompson opens up a lot of things for Steph Curry, and they have phenomenal athletes. I mean, they got like Iguodala coming off the bench.
Here's who I think will win the MVP. A guy who isn't very happy about his name being left out of the MVP conversation, and that is LeBron James. I'm going to go on the limb and say I think the king will be not dethroned, but he'll actually take the crown for the MVP. Turned in quite the performance earlier this week against the Golden State Warriors in what was seen by many as possibly an NBA Finals preview. Yeah, possibly. I thought LeBron's performance there really stepped up and took over that game. When you had the hottest team in the NBA, a lot of people think that the Warriors are the best team and probably have them as their selection to go to the NBA Finals and maybe even be crowned the NBA champions when it's all said and done. That remains to be seen. But what I saw out of LeBron was clearly a guy on a mission. A guy who was upset about being left out of the MVP conversation, and I think he's on a mission to take over. You know, they don't have Kyrie Irving right now, and that LeBron doesn't care. I just think LeBron's found that other switch. It's March. He knows the time of year it is. NBA playoffs right around the corner. They'll be here before you know it. So this is the time. Look, the Cavs, to me, the best team in the NBA the past month, 4 to 6 weeks. Is that fair? I think that's fair to say that they're the best. They have been the best team.
They have been the best team, and then what I think is now is the time for LeBron. He's got here, it's this late in this season. He doesn't have to hold anything back anymore. He doesn't have to worry about wear and tear. There, it is go time for him. He's locked up with a couple teams there with Chicago, Toronto, Washington's clipping at their heels. This is go time for LeBron. Later in the season, he's mad about not being in the MVP talks. I think here we go. He's going to Ronda Rousey, everybody's MVP, thinking in 14 seconds you're going to have him on the top of your list.
So do you agree with me saying that LeBron James will be the MVP when it's all said and done? Are we ready to crown him now? That's the point. Are we ready to crown him now as the MVP, or do you need to see more?
I got to see more, but I think it's coming.
I do as well. I do. I think he will be crowned the MVP. Another thing that's coming this time at the show, we do the Mia Milk Carton missing in action. You guys can submit your nominees throughout the week. We'll get them here on the live show. Missing in action from the Honda Classic. Those of you down in Palm Beach, where I grew up, looking forward to heading out to the Honda Classic down there at PGA. Well, you're not going to see Rory Mcilroy. That's right, Rory Mcilroy missing the cut out of the PGA Honda Classic. That's got to burn. You know, that really stinks if you're a fan. You know, you're out there for a sole purpose to see Rory Mcilroy, and he can't even make the cut. You know, anytime you get one of the top players in the world of golf, one of the top ranked players, if you will, the big ticket guys, I don't understand. And look, everybody deserves to have a bad day. But it's almost like we expect golfers to constantly make the cut. It's like there is no excuse for you not to make the cut, Rory. What is wrong with you? There's no bad day at the office. You can't do that. At least you can't do it to the point to where you don't make the cut. Like, you can have a bad day at the office if you're a golfer and finish 20th. That's okay. That's an excuse. But when you're Rory McIlroy or Tiger Woods, back in his prime, I don't think that we like to give these guys a little wiggle room to have a tournament or two, even if it is something like the Honda Classic, not the biggest name tournament out there. It's funny, we're funny like that, sports fans. That's unacceptable.
He's done. He's through.
It's just unacceptable because
Rory, who?
You know what? It's almost like you can compare it to like when the San Antonio Spurs are like benching guys. You pay the money to go to these games, and then all of a sudden they're not there. Now, granted, when the Spurs do bench guys, they mostly do it on road games. And typically, road fans don't exactly go to the game unless your team absolutely stinks. You don't go there to see the opponent's star players. Unless you just absolutely stink, then yeah, that's all you're going to the games for. Because the home team doesn't have anything as far as quality on the court. So Mia Milk Carton, we got to put Rory McIlroy in the back of it for obvious reasons. I got another nominee out here. You guys can vote who should be the headliner. Dick Vitale, once again, will not be calling Duke UNC. And I thought it was an outrage when the decision came down from ESPN to not make him a part of the broadcast team for the first time since 1979 when Duke and UNC met a couple weeks ago. And I still think it's an outrage now. There aren't many opportunities in life where we can kind of fix our mistakes. You make a decision, you have to stand by it. But when you have a chance to kind of rebuttal that, you have a chance to make up for it, and you miss that opportunity too, now you're just stubborn. ESPN, how could you not have Dick Vitale a part of UNC Duke? Immediately, that's what I think of. I mean, sure, you can think of the great players that have played for both programs. You think of the coaches, the courts, the atmosphere, right? You think of all that. But for me, UNC Duke, I think Dick Vitale calling the game. I said it in the first matchup when he wasn't announced as a part of the broadcast team. You might as well have canceled the game. And now he's not going to be a part of the second one.
I'm not even that big of a Dickie V fan, and I find it weird that he's not calling the game.
He had an interesting tweet. Perception, when you are in the 70s club, and Dick Vitale is 75, you must move over for the young dudes. Problem is, there are guys like Brent and I who are still fired up. And I'm fired up too, Dickie. I'm fired up too. I think it's an absolute outrage, as a matter of fact, that you're not a part of this broadcast for UNC Duke. ESPN had an opportunity to make up for their mistake. It was a golden opportunity, as a matter of fact.
I mean, he at least should be on there for some pregame and stuff like that. Come on.
No, you don't just bring him on for pregame. Oh, that's like a slap in the face. Yeah, we'll let you stick your hand out the window and wave to everybody. But then we're gonna need you to hide out in the back after that. When we go live full broadcast, we can't have you a part of that. Sorry, Mr. Vitale. You can wave to everybody, but when the game starts, you're gonna need to go to your room. What? You just want him out there for the pregame?
Just get him out there for something, so I feel like we're watching some college basketball.
No, Dick Vitale doing the play-by-play. I love the energy, even at 75. That's why I want him out there. I don't want him out there just to see where his receding hairline has gone. Come on, KB. Just for the pregame? Now he's got even less airtime, if that's possible. We see his face, but how much do we hear him? That's the whole point. He's the play-by-play guy. He's the voice. He brings the energy, the passion.
Are they saving him for the tournament?
No, obviously they're not saving him for anything. You had a chance,
I'm digging
ESPN.
deep here.
You had a chance, ESPN, and you blew it once again. That's your Mia Milk Carton right here on the Sports Sign-Off Show. JT signing off on ESPN 730. Don't forget, if you have a nominee, jump on the Facebook page, the Sports Sign-Off. Like us today. Join the conversation. Submit your nominees there. We'll get them here on the live show. All right, this time of the program, got to give a shout-out as we give some love to somebody in the world of sports. It's called the Bang Bang of the Week.
You ready, JT?
Bang, 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 bang. Bang, 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 bang.
All right, my brother-in-law, Robbie Martin, got to give him some credit here on this story. Brought this to my attention. Big West Virginia fan. For those of you that don't know him, saw this one out there, and I'm glad he brought this to my attention. West Virginia hoops giving some love themselves to 5-year-old Nicholas Wentz as they give him a day that he will never forget. And I will tweet this out at JT Sounds Off. I'll tweet out the link. There's also a video that is accompanying it. Just a great story. And I love stories like this. So if it's an obvious choice for Bang Bang of the Week, then let it be. But nonetheless, I say bang bang to West Virginia basketball here this morning on the Sports Sound-Off Show. As they gave a look, quite a story here. West Virginia giving Nicholas a day to remember. 5-year-old from Middleburn, West Virginia, spent the day with the Mountaineers. Even got a chance to sign a letter of intent at the afternoon press conference. And look, they went all out. Went all out for this little guy. Arrived in a limousine. Greeted by cheering fans. Got to partake in the shoot-around. It's just fantastic. You guys check out the video. They had him up there doing slam dunks, talking with Bob Huggins.
Oh, it's awesome. They got him wearing his number 5 jersey. It's great.
Yeah, they gave him a jersey, and the entire day was arranged for Nicholas and his family by the Make-A-Wish Foundation. Just a great story. Bring some tissues, though, if you're going to watch this one. Yeah, grab some tissues. Absolutely tremendous. Just seeing the excitement, not only on his face, obviously, but the players, too. For the players to be a part of something like this, they're loving it. They're absolutely loving it. So it's fantastic. And Nicholas suffering from potentially could be a life-threatening condition known as hypoplastic left heart syndrome. So for him to have this opportunity and to put that smile on his face, I say bang, bang to the West Virginia basketball program from everybody from the top down. The players, just tremendous. Absolutely tremendous. Appreciate you guys joining us here this morning on the Sports Sign-Off Show. Got to wrap this one up. Go out and make it a bang, bang week. In fact, make it count, make it memorable. We only get to do this once after all. Thank you very much for joining us here on the Sports Sign-Off Show. This is JT sounding off. Until next week, the Sports Sign-Off Show on ESPN 730, ESPN730.com. For my man, KB.
Woo!
JT here saying, yes.
This is Vince Carter of North Carolina Tar Heels Life. You're listening to the Sports Sound Off with JT. You don't know about it, learn about it.